Welcome to Fluido Moments, our podcast series where we will talk about what's it like to be a Fluidian, what we do every day, and what our culture is all about. This is your backstage pass to all things Fluido.
Welcome to this Fluido Moments podcast. My name is Tony Russell, Commercial Director of Fluido UK and Ireland. Today, I'm going to be talking to Thomas Johansson, who's our CEO, and I'm delighted to welcome you here today, Thomas.
Thank you, Tony.
So, Thomas, I just have a number of questions for you. Why don't we go back to the start of things, because you've been at Fluido for some years, and I think you were there at the very start. So could you just tell us a bit about that journey from the outset?
Yeah, so it's been a wonderful journey, obviously, and I could maybe put it in 5 different phases. So first, obviously, when the company was founded, so that's the Fluido 1.0, and we wanted to be the number 1 Salesforce partner in Finland. But quite soon, we actually realized that we can be much more. So then we wanted to, go to the other Nordic countries, and that's the Fluido 2.0. And we were quite successful, but at some point, when you are growing to other markets, you might have some cash flow problems because they are big investments. And we were completely alone. And then we got, which is the Fluido 3.0, we got Salesforce Ventures interested in us. So they actually made the first investment in the Nordics into Fluido, but it was on one term and one condition, that we would have a local investment company coming on board as well. And that really we were able to release our handbrake and really to start to grow our business and invest in our people and the markets and so forth. So we started to grow quite rapidly, and then Fluido 4.0 came when Infosys acquired us, and that's 3.5 years ago, and that brought us more scale, more global reach, and obviously access to some of the Infosys clients as well. And now we are working on the Fluido 5.0, which is then maybe streamlining some of the processes and really scaling our European operations so that we have ambitious plans to be a big player in Europe. We are the number 1 in the Nordics already, and now we are gradually going south and taking market share.
Thanks, Thomas. Yeah, it's really interesting to see that kind of growth, and the focus that I guess Fluido must have had in the early days was probably on the sort of smaller businesses, the mid-market, and now we're moving through the Infosys acquisition. We're now moving into the enterprise space. How do you see that helping with our business and just moving forward in terms of the kind of industry focus that we're looking at achieving?
Very good question, Tony. So obviously we've been working with the enterprise clients in the Nordics in the past as well, but now we are going to a direction where we can really, a Finnish big stock exchange listed customer might have a revenue of 5 billion, but now we are going with these European companies which might have 50 billion of revenue. So obviously they are globally operating companies everywhere. So it means that we really need to be more industrialized and having an industry focus as well. We are aligning with Salesforce in that as well. We get a lot of support from Infosys because they have the Infosys Consulting, where they are very skillful domain expertise. But we want to have that in our company as well. So that's the journey we have started already a couple of years ago, and now it's with our industry center of excellence. So it's shaping up quite nicely, and that's going to be very important going forward. So obviously we know Salesforce. We've been always great in the technology, but the demand from the customers is shaping as well. Salesforce has done huge amount of acquisitions, so they are they can cover so many different processes with this ecosystem. So it's important that we are aligned with them but at the same time, we need to have our own way of doing business and being relevant for our customers.
Over the last 11 years now, we've grown across Europe to about 500 consultants or 500 headcount across Fluido. I mean, that's significant growth, which probably makes us one of the largest Salesforce partners in the ecosystem across Europe, which is, a great place to be. I think for me, in order to maintain that kind of growth and to develop that further, a lot of our aspiration should be to attract more talent. Fluido seems to have a secret sauce in terms of its culture. How do you see that shaping up further? How do you see it transitioning between, various countries within our domain? So, we've got a Nordic culture, we've got the DACH region, we've got Benelux, and we've got the UKI. So, do you have anything to add on that front?
Yeah. So first of all, I would say that the culture is the key for any kind of businesses and their success. But the culture is not just values which are on the wall. The values need to be something tangible so that you believe in those and you act on those on everyday basis. And this is something what I think we have achieved very well. So I'm really passionate myself into our values. I use them every single day. I believe in those fully, and that sort of brings the base for what we are. We can't be something else. We want to be what we are, and of course, going to new markets, different cultures. It's very important that we can keep that Fluido culture, and so that, but it comes from the ground. You can't just push it somewhere. It needs to be so that the people feel that they belong and they believe in these values what we have. And one of the secret sources, obviously, is the collaboration between the countries. So we are very much, I would say that we crowdsource knowledge. That's maybe the most important thing what we are doing very well, because people come to these companies to learn, to be a better Salesforce, consultant, architect, developer, business consultant, and so forth. And this place is really a place where you can learn more from your peers, but also you are able to share your knowledge so that the others can grow. And this is important, and we're gonna carry on this path.
As you say, values are not something you just put up on a wall. They have to be believed in, they have to be lived day to day. And if you as CEO are living and breathing those, it does cascade through the organization. And I think as we grow here in the UKI region, for example, it's something that was incredibly important to us when we go and find new talent. We talk to our partners, we talk to our clients. And for some reason, it seems to carry through. So you're right, I think, in terms of if you live and breathe this and you exemplify those values, it pays dividends, both to partners and to clients alike. So you talk about the collaboration across the territories. Can you just give us a bit more insight in terms of how the leadership teams across the regions collaborate to that best effect?
Yeah, so obviously one of the quite important things is the fact that, when we go to different markets, we go to a new country. So we have already done that in other places. So we try to scale and copy all the good things. But at the same time, we have exceptional leaders in these countries. So we try to share the things because we are not robots. We are not pushing processes in a similar. We believe in people. We believe that actions speak louder than words. So it means that, that the countries are anyway quite independent in one way. But at the same time, we try to learn from all the different good things what we are doing in different countries. And that makes the combination of, like I talked about, Fluido 5.0. So it's also to pick up all the best things from the different countries and make us even better, so that we are, better and more relevant for our customers, but also so that we are a great place to work for.
Part of this growth that we're enjoying just now is attributed not just to the organic growth that we drive from our traditional Fluido business, but now through the acquisition by Infosys, it takes us into a whole new world of opportunity. And that is, our comfort zone of old was in the mid-market space with a few lower enterprise opportunities. But now we're finding that 50, 60, 70% of the opportunity base that we have is in the enterprise space, household names across the globe, which is really exciting for our people. For me, it's all about how do we get that balance right working with Infosys. We are talking about potentially in the UKI region, we've enjoyed 50% work from our existing base and then 50% from the Infosys opportunity base. But looking forward, we're probably talking about 70% coming from Infosys. How do we best leverage our culture, everything that's special that we enjoy as Fluido, to help drive that kind of unity with Infosys to best effect for the clients?
I would say, so first of all, when we started the company and those early days, so obviously we were supporting all kind of customers, from 10 people to thousands of people. But now then, we have ambitious targets to grow even more. Of course, we need more enterprise clients. And Infosys is so like the access for us to the existing client base, where they have been working for many, many years. They have the trust, between the customer and Infosys. But at the same time, I would say that what is very important is that we work. We are so like the let's say the catalyst, because we are locally here. We have the support from Infosys, also the cost efficiency from offshore. So we can play with the customers and really offer them, solutions and models which are maybe different than a only local partner, or maybe a other SI, because we have the combination of not just Fluido, Infosys Consulting, but actually, jointly together with Wong Doody, we can bring so much more to the table, because it's a lot about the customer experience, it's about the employee experience, but so it's like the human centricity in these different digital transformation programs. So I believe in that very, very clearly, that a combination of these, the best from all these different parties and really collaboratively working with our clients will bring them the best return on investment and the value. Because in the end of the day, we are playing in the Salesforce ecosystem, but if the customers are not getting the value out of their license investments, there's no point of doing anything. So we need to help our customers to really to get that value, and it's all about speed nowadays. So to be able to do it fast, you need to have the muscles and the scale. And that's how I see that, with the local people close to Salesforce, close to the customers, but anyway, then having the scale and the mentality of long-term relationship with clients will bring the best value.
It's so vital in terms of what we do in our go-to-market that we get that balance right between the likes of our key partners like Salesforce and Infosys as our parent company. Getting that dynamic and that balance right is absolutely key. How do we best leverage our role within managing that in what in some cases could be quite a challenging circumstance? Who owns the customer, for example, in a particular pursuit? We have often seen where, there are potentially competing demands on the various organizations to achieve an outcome. How do you see our role in terms of navigating that with a client?
So obviously we are the catalyst. So of course, we need to have our destiny in our own hands. So that's why we need to promote, both towards Infosys, everywhere that why Salesforce is the platform of choice for our clients. But I would say that what is important is obviously the references we have. We have done this before many different times for different kind of customers from different industries, and that is the what we are leveraging also. If the best thing is a happy customer, because that shows that they have got the value, and that sort of gives you the potential to go further.
And in terms of a highly competitive marketplace that we exist in, here in the UKI region, there are hundreds of partners in the Salesforce ecosystem. What do you think we should take to market that would make us different? I'm thinking of things like helping an organization visualize the way forward with technology, especially obviously on the Salesforce platform. Things like that. What do you think that we should be taking to market? How should we differentiate from the competition out there?
It's a good question, but should we tell it here? No, but I think everything starts from the people, the employees. So we have real superheroes in our company. They are doing amazing things, for different clients all the time. But of course, UKI is a huge market. So if you want to, shoot with a shotgun or a rifle, so we need to understand that we need to take these specific areas where we want to shine and be the best. My background is in software business, but also sports. So what do you want to do in sports? You want to be the best, but you can't be the best, in the world immediately. You need to be best first on your local club, then maybe in the state, maybe then in the country, then, in Europe, then you might have a chance in the world. So you need to take your steps, but you need to be very careful if you start to go too fast to too wide areas. So that's why you need to understand that what's your internally, so that you understand what's your competitive edge, and then you seed and grow that going forward. And of course, in UKI, we have specific areas where we are very good. And now when we are extending those and going also to new areas, we anyway have all the support from, almost 500 people to go to these areas. And Tony, very well, how much you've been getting support from our, different countries. And that's the play we need to do, so that we continue this collaboration, so that we really can bring the value to our customers.
Wise words indeed, especially coming from someone with your background and achieving at the top, at the highest level. So wise words indeed. I think for me, one of the things we need to consider is in the UKI region is how do we behave differently? How do we change the narrative that's currently out there? Because it can become all too familiar for clients to be hearing the same old. And one of the things that I think we need to look at is looking outside the ecosystem for key players to join our world and help shape propositions that resonate well with our clients. You mentioned Wong Doody earlier, and I think that whole human centricity, that approach, that experiential piece is something that we really need to drive. Would you agree with me in that sense?
Absolutely, Tony. So we've been one of the few partners in the Salesforce ecosystem who has always been taking a lot of people outside of the ecosystem to Fluido, because we are the only official training partner in the Nordics. So that has given us the potential to really, onboard people fast to the Salesforce world. But the skills and the knowledge and the business understanding from a specific industry, that's much more important, when we recruit people, because they come with something very valuable. they understand this specific industry inside out. We can teach them, the Salesforce technology and the Salesforce understanding. And Salesforce obviously a fantastic platform with Trailhead as well. So people can, even anybody watching this episode, so you can go to Trailhead and open an account and start learning Salesforce, because there will be a lot of demand in the future. There's already now, but there will be more. The whole ecosystem needs a lot of skillful people. So there's no point in just recruiting people from the competitors. That's not going to grow the ecosystem. So we need to reskill our customers, the people, because there's definitely a lot of work to be done, and we will continue what we have done the last almost 12 years. So that I think that's important, and we have fantastic stories. People basically they have gotten a completely new career. They are fantastic individuals, and they didn't know anything about Salesforce when they joined, and now they are the superheroes.
I think that's so exciting, because partly where we find technology going, we find with clients it's not just about the tech anymore. It's about solving business problems, solving cultural problems, experiential problems, all those sorts of things. And I think this, to your point, opens up a world of opportunity for people who might not realize that they have an opening in technology to complement what we do, that they could come from industry. So long as they have the aptitude and the desire to be a superhero, they can come on board and really fly. I think that's something that Fluido shouts loud about, and I think that's something we should all take heart from, but not stop shouting about it, because it's important that people out there realize that there are huge opportunities to take on a digital career, which maybe they never thought of doing, up to this point. So I think that's what makes it really exciting for us moving forward, because if we had to compete in a finite marketplace, poaching off each other, that's not going to solve the problem.
Work, no.
We need to seed and grow future talent. And can you talk a little bit about what we're doing with the academy, for example? Just take us a little bit further on that, and some of the other initiatives that we can take to market here in the UK as well.
Yeah, so obviously with these skills and all the certified trainers and all that, so we have the bandwidth to and take people outside of the ecosystem, and also people who have been maybe a little bit in the ecosystem already, and take them to the next level. So we have a academy where we are bringing people in, onboarding them faster. But we have done this also for our customers. And I think that's very important, that, we can actually, completely reshape our customers, organization. And that is powerful, because if our customers understand Salesforce even better, it's very beneficial. And that's something what, we did the first academy for one of our clients already, 4 years ago. And we've been repeating that with other clients. And the feedback has been just fantastic, because it is a war of talent, and we need to have those people who want to join this ecosystem, who are passionate about learning. It's all about learning. If you stop learning, you will be sort of like on the sidelines. And that's why it's important that, we try to keep this passion in this ecosystem, for all the different Fluidians who are working in our fantastic company, so that they keep on learning. They might need to get to the deep end of the pool sometimes, but, they will become even better.
And when they do get into that deep end, friends don't let friends down, and it's
Absolutely.
one of our values. And at the end of the day, they know where to turn, or they should know where to turn to get help. And so they will not drown.
Absolutely.
Thomas, I just will draw this to a close. Thank you very much for your insights and your advice.
Thank you, Tony. It's been fantastic to be here in the London office, and I've really been enjoying it. Thank you.
Thank you. And that concludes our Fluido Moments episode. Thank you.